Ciao, I'm RigorNerdis and here we only talk about Warhammer 40k. In this video I want to show you how I went from this to this. Finalmente ho trovato il tempo di registrare. So, I recently bought some second-hand veteran squad to practice some new pattern. Why second-hand? Because I'm poor. I decided to start with this veteran with the vest and the relic to convert him into a Covenant of Fire. Speaking of Covenant of Fire, there's not much official lore at the moment. The confirmed facts are that they are officially Salamanders successor chapters and that Belisarius Cold created them in secret during the Ultima founding. So you might wonder why they fascinated me. Well, because there are two theories about them that completely blew my mind. The first one is that they might actually be Wordbearer's successor. Honestly, the whole idea of Belisarius Cole using traitor gene seed to forge loyalist chapters is super fascinating and opens some incredible scenarios. The inner dualism between who they think they are and what their genetics push them to be is pretty cool. I mean, despite their indoctrination to the Promethean cult, they still turns out like religious zealots. Religious fanatics. Fanculo l'inglese. Just like the word bearers. The idea of Lorgars and Witting Sons are bringing his original attitude back to the Imperium is just brilliant. Well, if this theory it is not confirmed, this second theory it's pretty much confirmed, it's pretty canon. The second theory is that why they are out there acting like complete fanatics and biblioclast, they are actually blasting Creed at full volume, and it's pretty accurate. I can see that while they're burning books, singing Can you take me? Vabbè, avete capito, dai. I talk too much about lore and let's talk about the miniature itself. I have to admit, it was painted really well and I almost felt bad about touching it. The first step was stripping the paint. I soaked the miniature in Tamiya paint remover for about 24 hours, then I cleaned it up with an old toothbrush. Once it was dry, I removed all the mold line and any leftover imperfection. Next came the most creative part, the kit bashing. First, I had a Mark 7 helmet, or at least I think it is a Mark 7, let me know in the comment, which really gives the vibes of a veteran using ancient war gear like relics from a distant, unreachable past. Then, to emphasize the connection with the Salamanders and the Promethean cult, I had a brazier. I had a brazier from their upgrade sprue. Also, I had a left shoulder pads with the Salamander insignia, and I placed a tiny shield featuring a book and a skull on top of it. This shield is my personal nod to their biblioclast doctrine, preserving and searching secret knowledge while burning what they deem heretical. As a final touch, I had a dagger. In my mind, a Covenant of Fire fight mostly with blade and flamers, making them an hybrid between an ancient knight and a futuristic soldier. Okay, after that, the painting process. First of all, I applied a coat of Molotov primer and I let it dry for 24 hours. I love this primer because it has an optimal consistency that preserves the miniature's details perfectly. For the base coat, I laid down a very diluted layer of Citadel Con Red. After that, using the dry brushing technique, I applied a Vallejo clear orange coat to get that vibrant orange color. With the base colors done, I moved on to the finer details. I used Vallejo white for the flames, the drape and the purity seals, Vallejo flat brown for the dagger, the holster, the belt and the stock on the bolt gun, Vallejo black for the helmet, arms and shoulder pads. To add some definition, I did some highlighting to the black part with some various shades of grey and black, and for the armor plates, mixing Vallejo clear orange with Citadel Haverland Sunset. For the fire in the backpack brazier, using the slab chop technique, I applied various shades of green speed paint. going from orc skin to absolute green. I choose green instead of classing orange red, specifically to create a nice contrast with the rest of the armor. Finally, I touched up the red details on the bolt gun, the purity seal and the arm, using Citadel's Mephiston red for the highlights. I use Vallejo flat green for the eyes and the right knee pad details. And I applied Nuln Oil to shade and add some depth to the golden relics. As the absolute final touch, I focused on the base. I wanted to create a frozen world because the contrast between the warm orange of the armor and the crisp white of the snow create a fantastic synergy on the miniature. In conclusion, it was a wonderful experiment to give a second life to a miniature painted by a stranger. If the previous owner ever seen this video, I hope he don't take it like a sign of disrespect. Let me know in the comments what you think about this first video and remember, eat your veggies. Madonna, registrare in inglese è la cosa più difficile del mondo. Madonna.